Y'all, 50 Cent is starting to drop some snippets about his upcoming documentary against Diddy. And going by the things that we're seeing from these few snippets, the documentary is going to be a storm like Hurricane Storm. In the latest update, he dropped some behind-the-scenes information about Diddy and his secret battle against Wendy Williams, going as far as to claim that Diddy allegedly tried to unalive Wendy. But if that's not bad enough, 50 Cent also claims that Diddy tried to unive Wendy, because Wendy was the very first person to piece together his relationship with Cassie and realize that Cassie was Diddy's victim. Now 50 Cent is coming after Diddy extra hard, but this latest revelation just might take the cake, so let's break it down now. Before we dive into 50 Cent's latest tea on Diddy, let me fill you in on the tea so you know how this wild feud even started between Wendy and Diddy. Now, to be fair, Wendy does have a feud with half the CBS in the industry, because in her heyday she was spilling tea and exposing them all. If there was one thing that we would know about these celebs, is that they do not like to be exposed, especially when they're getting freaky. But Diddy's feud with Wendy was one of the messiest, because Diddy was ready to go to all lengths to ruin Wendy, and you all know that Wendy is as stubborn as they come, and Wendy held on to that grudge for quite some time. And if you ask 50, it all started because Diddy allegedly played dirty with Wendy, and it set her off. Wendy even claimed that Diddy allegedly put her safety at risk by sending people after her to jump her. This all happened in the early 90s when Diddy just launched Bad Boy Records. The lady Abel took off with the hit because Diddy had some big wigs like Clive Davis backing him up. Meanwhile, Wendy was making moves over at Hot 97 radio station as a jockey. Now you think that she'd be on friendly terms with Diddy, right? No, not a chance. Now, to be fair, they did get on well at first, but things seriously went left when Diddy started to go after Wendy for not saying good things about him on her show. Now back then, Bad Boy Records was stacked with top-tier artists like Lil Kim, Biggie Smalls, P7s, and the girl group Total, just to name a few. Even though the label was still in its early days, it was already a big deal because Diddy had the street smarts necessary to run the game, and as a part of their PR stuff, Diddy decided to use Hot 97 as the perfect spot to promote his artist and get their hits on air, of course. This is before social media and TikTok, where they could pay influencers to make the song viral. Back then, there wasn't any of that, and the radio was the major way for labels to put their artist onto the mainstream media. So when Wendy started throwing shade at Diddy and sharing her not-so-flattering opinions, things got very seriously dramatic. Yet Diddy wasn't exactly thrilled with Wendy's critiques, to say the least. If you know anything about Diddy, from the allegations that we've seen in these many lawsuits that have been brought against him, we know that he has a bad habit of going after his ops, and according to 50, that's how the feud started. Now, despite Bad Boy Records being successful, he hated how Diddy spoke about him on the radio. Now, you think that Diddy would speak to Wendy privately and try to straighten things out. But again, we already know that Diddy is not the type of person to have a talk about anything like that. And as we've come to expect, diplomacy isn't really Diddy's thing when dealing with the ops. So instead of talking it out, 50 Cent claims that Diddy went for a more drastic approach. Allegedly, he arranged for Wendy to get jumped by his girl group Total.
There was an incident a few months before that, and they just had put him outside and everything. About a month and a half before that. Yeah.
I remember I got off the air one day and them the Total were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen. Skell hiding like a girl. Thanks, Skell. I'm standing in the door like, what? And I'm literally about to go through. Now, I'm not like, what, let's fight, because I'm not one of those type of broads. And plus, there was 3.
Yeah, Hollywood is a wild place. I mean, one moment, you're getting signed to a big label, and you think that your dreams are coming true. The next moment, your boss is forcing you to jump somebody because someone hurt his feelings with a few words. The absolute ghetto. And that wasn't even the first time that Diddy used one of his artists to do something other than music. Total was not the first group that Diddy forced to do his dirty work either, cause he did the same thing to Shine, forcing Shine to take the fall for the 1999 club shooting. Diddy was facing serious jail time, but the next thing we knew, those charges magically disappeared into thin air and Diddy walked away without a scratch while Shine went to prison for people. There have been allegations that Diddy set Shine up and Gene Deal, and Diddy allegedly paid witnesses to testify against Shine during the trial.
People were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed. You understand what I'm saying? Shine said it himself, y'all.
Diddy, being the sneaky person, He has then dropped Shine and got him deported to Vice. Shine also confirmed that Diddy had betrayed him in a 2020 interview where he said Puff apologized. He did apologize to me for that when we went in Paris. He did say that he could have handled it better. But he was under a lot of pressure from the lawyers to throw me under the bus. One of the Natana Rubin claimed that during the trial she testified saying, I saw Mr. Combs pull out a black with his right hand. It felt like a flaming hot sledgehammer had hit me in the face, she said. I literally watched him pull out the gun. I had a clear point of view. I mean, for God. Saki, I got in my nose. I was facing them directly. I watched everything occur and have described it vehemently to all parties involved. I have 9 fragments remaining in my face. Well, Natanya also spoke about the event, revealing that she still has some bullet fragments in her body and suffers from traumatic brain disorder as well as seizure disorder as a result of what Diddy allegedly did to her.
It's toxic to your human body, but yet for the last 24 years, I've had lead bullet fragments in my face. Just like Julius Jones, the other gentleman who got shot, he still has a bullet in his back. Like, people need to have some sort of respect and empathy, if nothing else. If nothing else, we didn't ask for this. We didn't do anything to deserve this. Like I said, I was an innocent bystander. What did I do to deserve this? And so, yes, the aftermath has been horrific because outside of all of the physical things, I would have seizures. Sometimes I could have 20 seizures a day. One day, my son, he's a grown man now, but when he was a teenager, he came home from school all jolly, in a good mood, found me on the bed, stuck in a seizure, contorting, and my daughter, which was an infant, on the bed, trying to get the bottle in her mouth. Just laying there without no care. I had been in a seizure. I don't know how long that seizure took, but I was seizing.
So yeah, Total got lucky because all Diddy asked them to do was just jump Wendy. It could have been way worse, and they could have been getting in even more trouble. But they were more than happy to try to jump Wendy on Diddy's orders. But luckily, Wendy and her then boyfriend Kevin Hunter watched her back when Total tried to jump her. I mean, let's be real, Wendy had a sharp tongue, but a physical fight is not her thing, and she would have got plumed. Now you think that Wendy would have gave up and stopped talking about Diddy because she almost got jumped, but you'd be very wrong because Wendy has been tough for years. She's a New Yorker and she was not about to let a little close call like that shut her up. If anything, Wendy went on to overdrive, bringing up the heat on Diddy and dishing out even more gossip as payback to him. She's been the queen of pettiness since day one. And Diddy learned that the hard way, and this made Diddy even more furious. And he continued to pursue her. In the meantime, Wendy still didn't back down herself. If anything, she went low up. Because only a couple months after she almost got jumped again, she leaked a picture of Diddy's son Justin Combs with Diddy's biggest op and arch nemesis Schneid. And this was petty as F. It was quite humiliating for Diddy. But if you think the beef between Diddy and Suge was intense now, you should have seen them back in the day during that epic East Coast and West Coast showdown. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Diddy and Sue have nothing but pure unadulterated hatred for each other. But we talk about Suge and Diddy for a minute. So you know why Wendy crossed the line. By leaking that picture at the time, Diddy was knee-deep in a paternity drama with Misa Hilton, because he was denying left and right that he was Justin's father, claiming that the kid wasn't his, and accusing Misa of trying to pass off another man's baby as his now. While Diddy's out here throwing shade and denying paternity, there were rumors shring about him putting his hands on Misa. According to Gene Deal, he wasn't exactly treating her with kid gloves. Let Gene tell her he was being brutal towards her.